The XRP ETF launched in Canada yesterday. What about the one in the United States? I've got the update for you. Stablecoin Act passed in the Senate. How long will it take to get to the House? Speaking of the Stablecoin Act, you know who stock pumped on that action? We're also going to talk about the markets. On hold because they're waiting for Jerome Powell's decision that's happening today. We'll have a live stream on it along with more juicy news. So happy hump day, boys and girls. And before we get into that juicy news, like Picoin absolutely melting faces, we do your comments. Why? Well, because you, the viewer, matter most. Anna Belugo says, I started watching your channel investing in November. Damn, you weren't lying when you said this shit is volatile. Guess I'm buying the dip again. Yo, these markets are going to be volatile as long as the world is volatile. Do you see that changing anytime soon? I sure as hell don't. Kombucha man, ooh, could go for some hard kombucha right now, says, I hope the vote passes. That's if Pocahontas allows it to move on. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Genius Act because, yes, it passed the Senate. But how long now will the House have to work on it and vote on it? The answer may shock you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The United States, Los Estados Unidos, does not move that fast. Miss Rise to the Top, oh my God, love the name. I keep telling her that, but she's got one of the best creative names out there, dropping support on the channel. Says, I did myself a favor. I no longer get excited about XRP Hopium. Oh my God, you mean no $10,000 by Friday bullshit? Way to go, girlfriend. Unrealistic predictions or rumors. Just sitting and waiting until my end game. Way to go, chick. Thanks for keeping it real, Cosper. You're welcome. Bitcoin sitting at 104,777 ETH. This 2511 while XP's at 214. Went to the eye doctor yesterday and we thought what happened is what happened. My vision got worse. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. BNB's at 643 while Sol's at 145. Why is the market red? Well, has to do with Israel, Iran, and it has to do with this guy up on the screen. Yeah. Jerome Powell. Why? Because later today, he's doing the FOMC meeting rate decision. Dow, S&P 500, and cryptos are flat ahead of the Fed's rate decision. U.S. stocks look to edge higher on Wednesday as the market pondered the next steps ahead of the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision. Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and the rest of the things are all basically going sideways. Crypto, yeah, not really sideways, a bit more in the red. Why? Because crypto is a bit riskier than the stocks. Now. There is a stock, though, that is going up. And in fact, if you go to the 5-day chart-a-roni, homegirl is a pump-a-roni, and that's Circle stock. Why is Circle stock going up? The Senate passes the stablecoin bill 68-30, despite Warren's warning, that's right, Pocahontas, 1%, massive financial crisis. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Listen to this. The Genius Act passes the Senate, but here's the deal. With the Genius Act, we're bringing clarity to a sector that's been clouded by uncertainty. This coming from Senator Scott, chair of the Banking Committee. Oh, the gentleman from South Carolina. What a good man. The Genius Act will now go to the House of Representatives. If approved and not modified. See, if they modify it, then it goes back to the Senate for them to approve on those modifications. But listen to this. If approved, it then will go to President Trump's desk for signature. The regulatory agencies have 180 days of enactment to finalize implementing rules. So we got time, everyone. Yeah, isn't this crazy? This is totally crazy. So, look, their whole goal was to have this done by the August recess. They're still on schedule for that time frame, so August recess. Like I said, Circle stock roaring on that. When it was released for their IPO, it was released at $31. People now are 5.5x up on that action. So if you think the crypto market is the only place where you can make nutso gains, no, that's not true. The stock market, you can make nutso gains as well. Yeah, way to go, Circle fans. XRP ETF launches in Canada. That is interesting. But when is it going to happen in the United States? I got the answer for you. The ETF is one of the first in North America to provide investors with long-term exposure to XRP. The 3IQ XRP ETF provides exposure to digital asset that has grown by a whole bunch since 2015. They will ring the closing bell today at the Toronto Stock Exchange. Earlier this year, 3iQ launched the 3iQ Solana staking ETF, which, you know, does a little SOL action. I like that. All right. Eleanor Tourette shared an update on the potential U.S. XRP ETF. And it's not that we're knocking Canada, it's just the Canadian markets are small. Remember, there was a Brazil XRP ETF. That didn't pump the price of XRP, did it? No, because they're smaller markets. You want to see big market ETFs. You want to see a China ETF from XRP. You want to see big countries, right? Big bags. Okay, listen to this, okay? Tourette, following a prior delay to June 17th, because remember, the SEC likes to delay. It doesn't matter if Atkins is in, if Gensler's the head, they just like to delay. They now, which is the Franklin Templeton Spot XRP ETF, the comments and the rebuttals date is now July. Most likely they're going to push that out even further. So the next date for the ETF is July. Speaking of dates, the SEC and Ripple seek to delay the appellate court proceedings until August 15th. So all these other cases get thrown out. You got both sides agreeing, and yet now we gotta wait until August 15th? What a freaking shit show, everyone. Volume for crypto right now went down a little bit to 123 billion. Altcoins slid a little to 22 out of 100, which means what? BTC dominance over the rest of them. BTC goes down 0.21%. ETH is down 1, BNB is down 1, SOL is down 2, XRP is down 2. You get my point. It's frustrating. This is very, very frustrating. XRP specifically, let's take a look at it. That's the one-day chart. Volume down 30% to 3.3 billion. Okay, we kind of see what's going on there. 7-day chart, you can see we get some mass awesomeness when it comes to Iran wanting to come to the table for a little bit of ceasefire talks. Israel says go F yourself. They keep screwing around with them. Okay, this isn't a political show. I'm just telling you what the price are doing. Then the price goes back into the pooper. Let's go back to those candlesticks and see what happens. 15-minute variety. Yeah. Support it around the 212 mark. Specifically, we had support around the 211.88 mark. Okay? Now, look at this, though. We're talking some now, not the juiciest of buy opportunities for XRP, because we've seen most recently you could snipe around the 208 mark. But still, 211 is pretty close to, I think, a lot of people's buy targets. Are you raising your buy targets to chase this floor on XRP? Or are you still sticking with around that sub $2 mark? The reason I ask is we haven't had sub $2 XRP for a while. So are you chasing the floor or are you sticking to your guns? Either way you are. You're seeing a lot of volatility. The chart that you're seeing for XRP up on the screen right now is right around 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, you've seen 235 once, 2, 3 different times. You've seen a low at around 210 once, 2, 3, about 4 different times in 3 weeks. So a lot of players out there, bigs and bots, are playing the dips and the tips between the 230 range and the 210 range. That's giving them a good chunk, almost about 10% swing on that play. If you got $1 million in your account, 10% gives you what, everyone? $100,000 profit every time you play these swings, these dips and tips. Swing out to the one-day chart, and don't get me wrong, we're still holding well above $2, which is awesome. So zooming out for you long-term holders, yeah, you're still looking good. The thing is this, though. Do you notice these tips here, right? These highs are getting lower. I mean, come on. We had in March, we had highs of 296, 299.9, but we haven't gotten close to that in a while. In fact, later in March, highs at 259. We're not getting close to that at all. We've had some troubles, most recently trying to even get close to that. So, looking at that, we're looking like, oh man, this isn't that cool. Yeah. We've seen the highs erode, but we've also seen the floor as of late picking up. Again, like I said, good news is we haven't seen us get anywhere closer than that $2 mark since all the way back here in April. So, floors are getting higher, the highs are getting lower, things are getting delayed, and oh my gosh, the United States is at working fast because we got time for them to deal with the stablecoin bill in the House. Some things are hot, some things are not, and later today, this man goes on the mic, I'll be covering it live with you. So volatility is definitely the name of the game, and so is delay. whether it's now moving it over to the House for the Genius Act, because remember, they're still working on the Clarity Bill, and that's been going on for a while now, and they're kind of delaying and dragging their feet with that. But remember, their job is to get it done by the August recess, and here we are in mid-June. That being said, Circle stock is on fire. Will Circle stock continue to be on fire if it's able to pass through the House? I think the market is saying, yeah. That is now a 5.5x since their IPO release. That is bonkers, everyone. I think a lot of us would love to see a 5.5x gain on our favorite cryptos within like a 2-week launch time. Yeah, that's nuts. Now, speaking of XRP directly, look, floors are getting higher and higher and higher. We haven't touched sub $2 now since what, like mid-April? That's a good thing. The highs, though, are getting lower and lower. That's not a good thing. But we've also seen that the markets have been susceptible to a lot of negative news. Jerome ain't cutting rates anytime soon. He's not doing it today, okay? He's really not. If you see someone on Twitter, you see someone on YouTube, oh, Jerome's cutting it 100 basis points. Give him the old bird, all right? Because they're dumber than shit. If all of a sudden you see someone out there going, oh, Trump is going to force Jerome to... No. Not going to happen. Jerome already said, look, we're not cutting rates because we don't know what's happening with tariffs because it might cause a temporary spike in inflation. Then Jerome said, look, we're not going to lower rates because all of a sudden we got a Middle East flare-up which might cause another temporary spike in inflation. So look, he's not going to do it. He's only going to cut rates once things calm down. And things aren't calm right now. So... I know it's hump day. I know it's supposed to be time where we have fun with our spouses, significant others, side actions, and so forth. But we just got to keep biting the poop sandwich because such is life in risky markets like crypto. I know it sucks. Join me later today as we do the live stream with Jerome Powell, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Choo-choo what? Choo-choo biz nachos.